There's a version of the future where you don't reach for your phone anymore. You just talk. And for the first time, I think I experienced a small piece of that. The idea is not new. We've seen it before. We've seen it with Hal. We've seen it with Samantha. We've seen it with Rehoboam speaking in people's ears and telling them exactly what to do. And then there's Jarvis, who was always available. An AI that does not live in a screen, but rather lives with you all the time, wherever you go. These are HumanPods, and on the surface, they just look like a pair of open-ear earphones. They're light, they're comfortable, and you can wear them all day, every day. You forget you're wearing them. But that's not the real product. The real product is the software that powers them. This comes from a company called Rolling Square. They've shipped millions of products over a decade of building hardware. The founders, Carlo and Lorenzo, they're not trying to reinvent everything. They're trying to make something that fits into everything you already do. So what happens? You put them on, you double tap, and you start talking. Not to Siri, not to Google, but to Natura AI's own assistant.
I'm right here, Akal. No Siri or Google vibes allowed. How can I help you today?
So I started using it the way they want me to use it. What are the nearest coffee shops in Manhattan which have patio seating?
Checking Manhattan for you. Manhattan has plenty of spots for a caffeine fix with a view. You could try Urban Backyard for a cozy vibe, or head to the Highline Hotel for Intelligentsia's courtyard seating. If you're in Midtown, Sip & Co. or Black Fox Coffee with its urban garden are solid choices too. Any particular neighborhood you're aiming for?
Let's scratch that. Tell me what's happening with the current Formula One season.
Getting the latest F1. The 2026 season is already off to a wild start with Mercedes dominating the first two rounds. George Russell and Kimi Antonelli have traded wins in Australia and China, putting Mercedes comfortably at the top of the standings. The biggest shock, though, is that the Bahrain and Saudi Arabian races were cancelled due to the conflict in Iran, so there's a bit of a gap in the calendar right now. Plus, Audi has finally made its debut on the grid, which is a huge shift for the sport. How's your fantasy team holding up with all these changes?
Not good. Give me 5 ideas in the health tech sector.
That's a tough break with the fantasy points. But let's shift gears to some high-impact ideas. Since you're already deep into bioprinting and AI, you could explore an AI-driven digital twin for physiotherapy that uses your Whoop data and Vision Pro to provide real-time form correction during recovery. Another angle is a post-app wellness agent that manages your entire health stack. Hearing aids, vision care, and supplements without you ever opening a dashboard.
But then I realized I don't even need the earbuds. I can just text to it over iMessage or Telegram. I could ask it to write a cold email to a client. I could ask it to summarize the daily tech news. And suddenly, it stopped feeling like a device I was testing, but rather part of my ecosystem which I was using every day. A tool set which I would go back to every single time. Heavily inspired by OpenClaw and what OpenAI might come out with, but definitely something which I am using every day. And just when I thought it wouldn't do more, I actually tried taking action and not just asking it questions, because voice mode's been around with ChatGPT for a long time. It started to set a reminder for me to make sure I complete my steps every day, or search Google Drive for a document that I was looking for. And every morning at 9 a.m., my research scout goes out and searches for research papers in the last 24 hours, summarizes them, and gives me what insights might be relevant to me based on my work every day. Under the hood, it's just connecting to various tools which we've seen so many other platforms try to do. It's using systems like Composio to connect with all of the backend APIs, to plug into apps, to trigger actions, and move beyond conversations. And that's when it actually clicked. At first, I was just testing it, pushing it, but then I stopped thinking about testing and I just started talking. Walking outside, thinking out loud, asking questions, and getting the right responses without ever actually pulling my phone out. This gave me a glimpse into what it might be to live in a future without me jumping from one app to another. And when it works, it feels incredibly natural. It's faster than typing, it has less friction, and it's just more fluid. I wish I could change the voice though. What about the memory? Well, the memory is surprisingly good, but it also tries to fetch context about you from the internet. Tries to pull in all of that when you connect to it and then save it. You can't update it yet on the dashboard, but I think that's something which is evolving every day. Sometimes the context is better than you expect it to be. But just like everything, it's not perfect. It has a latency, which you heard before. Sometimes it does not understand you correctly, maybe because of the accent. And other times you don't even know what to ask. And then there's the bigger question. Talking to an AI all day is definitely not normal. Not yet anyway. In public, around people, or even at home for that matter. I can't be talking to an AI all the time. It just feels off. It reminds me of a time when people were on a phone call. Reminds me of Better Call Saul, always answering phone calls, no matter where I was. And then there's the business model. The earbuds themselves are actually pretty cheap, but the real product is actually the subscription. You're not just buying a device, you're paying to keep the relationship alive. And this space is about to get extremely crowded. Humane failed. The Rabbit R1 is still trying to improve with their intern. And what do we know about Meta? They're trying to do something internally. They're firing people and they're building agents to run a company. And besides all this, we know that OpenAI and Johnny Ive are definitely working on a device which will change everything in this space. So here's where I land with this. This is early, it's inconsistent, and sometimes definitely unnecessary. I could do so much more with just my phone, and maybe just a pair of AirPods. However, this experience gives me a sense of what it might be to live with an AI, an ambient AI, always listening, always present, as an assistant to do the things that you would like it to do. It might not live in my ear, it might live in my home, and I could just say things for it to actually do the work that I would want to do. It's not ready. I'm not sure if it will ever be, and I'm still confused if it's a good thing or a bad thing.